Hello, this is Sister Kathy, and tonight we're going to start a new series. Thank you for joining me tonight. Social chat is open tonight. Thank you for joining me for this series. The title of this will be Angry Men. What I'm going to first talk about is um, the struggles of man. Meaning, like today's society, men are very different. Now, let me say this first. I know that there are a lot of great men out there, but I really want to deal with the epidemic of the men who really don't know their place. They really don't know their value, and it seems like they really don't know um, the blessing that they are and that they could be. So I want to get into that. As with all of my teaching series, whatever, I always like to start with a very, very basic foundation because that gives you a very good starting point. If you don't have a really good basic foundation, then how do you grow? How do you go from there? So session will be like very basic. I'm basically just going to be talking about man, just basically the definition of a man, and that's pretty much it for tonight. So we have 30 minutes to make this, the best I can. So let's not waste any time. Thank you for joining me. This is Sister Kathy. This is New You. Every series, every seminar, whatever, if you listen to it, watch me, you're going to learn something from it. And whenever you learn something, that's pretty much, you it's a new you. So because you have new knowledge, let's get straight into this. So I like this. The definition of man is very simple. It's a lot of little things that were in there that I could add to this, but I'm going to start with the very basic definition of a man. So according to Webster's dictionary, a man is an adult male. Okay, that is it, an adult male. But let's dig a little deeper and talk about what it means to be an adult and what it is to be a male. And you're like, that's so, like, you don't even need to put facts behind it. But I do. Because I want to build this foundation to really show you who you are. This will give ladies a greater understanding. It'll give our male population a better understanding. Even if a child watched this, they would have a better understanding. So let's get into it. Although the man may have many titles, he might be a husband, a dad, he might be the boss at work, a supervisor. He's a brother, he's somebody's uncle maybe, a nephew, whatever title that you bear, which each one of those titles, you're expected to live up to the role of that title. So I'm only focusing on men. I know you want to say something about the ladies, but I'm only focusing on men. So with those titles come responsibility. So, but what is being an adult? Let's talk about that first. Because, especially nowadays, there's a really big problem with finding men who are mature, who are ready to take on the responsibilities of being a man. Working hard, making that money, taking care of your family, okay, providing safety for your family, protection, even having a family. We know now that 80% of homes are single parent homes, and those homes are headed by females. So, what are we going to do to change the dynamics of that? We can continue to complain about it, and we can continue to be sore about it. But especially in the African American community, it's time for us to do something about it. This is my way of doing something about it, okay? Because somebody needs to tell men, um, who they are, what they were created for, and how much of a blessing you are. I mean, I came from basically a single parent home. My mother and father got divorced when I was very young, and as I got older and understood the value of having that relationship with my father, I took a very aggressive approach into developing that relationship with my father because I understood who he was. Um, and that's a lot to get into, but I'm just going to keep it simple. I understood who he was as my protector. I understood who he was as the first example of what I believe a man should be. And I did have other role models in that area, especially my grandfather, Reverend Andrew Jones. But what I'm saying to you is that that's an important role to fill, being a father, being a husband, okay? And more than likely, every male is going to fall into those roles of responsibility, being a man. Most men are going to have children. You're supposed to have children in the sanctity of marriage. A lot of people don't do that, and that's why I want to teach this series as well, because we have got to get back on track with doing things in the most productive, most valuable way. And one of the saddest things that exists today is fatherless children. I got to tell you, that is a heartbreak and a half to have a child who has a absent parent. And I have to say this since I'm going to say that. Do you not know that the burden of an absent parent is lighter when the absent parent is deceased? Is different than just an absent parent, like a parent who is just not around. Like, I don't know what it is, but as soon as a female tells a male that she's pregnant, I'm not even going to say it. I'm going to deal with that later. Let's go back. So a man is an adult male. What is an adult? Okay. An adult is a person displaying proper maturity. Okay. An adult is a person displaying proper maturity. You could say, well, what is proper maturity? Let's keep going. An adult person is able to make appropriate decisions. Okay, that is the thing that sets you apart from a child. Matter of fact, that is the only thing that sets you apart from being categorized as a child, as an adolescent, as a teen, as a kid. Um, is the fact that you can make the appropriate decisions. It's the fact that your attitude, what you believe in, everything you do is it goes along with your age. At 22, you shouldn't be doing the things that you did at 15. Your relationship should have changed. At 15, you're just beginning to, um, explore females. You probably get your first real crush where you're actually thinking about, well, not 15, maybe 16, 17, where you're actually thinking about dating someone exclusively. So it's at that age where you realize, you're not 9, 10 anymore. You're not 13 anymore. You're not that silly little boy anymore. You don't like to play jokes as much, more than likely, because you're maturing. So at 22, you shouldn't still be the silly child that you were at 16 or 17. At 25, you should not be or have the same way of thinking as you did at 22, because you continue to mature, you continue to grow, and you should reach a peak in your life where you begin to experience that growth in such a way that you begin to get comfortable in who you are. But in today's society, we have too many men who are uncomfortable with who they are. They don't really know who they are. They haven't had a father around to show them who they are. So they don't know, and they have so much fear, and they have so much frustration. And I am saying that this frustration has netted us a population of angry men who are frustrated because they cannot understand who they are. They do not understand the quality of life. Sadly, I must say this to you. It was years ago, probably 6 or 7 years ago, I was talking with a young lady who I work with, and a relative had committed suicide. He was a very young man. He was only about, he was in his early 20s for sure. He had impregnated 5 women, which resulted in 5 children being born. So he had 5 children. He was very diligent about going to work. He had 2 jobs, but child support became overwhelming for him. In the stress of that overwhelming feeling, he committed suicide. But before he committed suicide, he had a conversation with his uncles who had shown him this way of living that was not conducive to productivity. Productivity is not only creating another life, but productivity is also creating a life. A life where you can empower everyone who is in that life, where you can strengthen your wife, where you can have the ability to nurture your children, provide them with a home, provide them with clothes, provide them with shelter. Him in his mind believing that he did not have the ability or the capability to do that became overwhelmingly suppressed by his responsibilities. And his thought was to commit suicide. Now, you know, I'm not teaching anything about suicide. What I'm telling you is we need to know, and you need to know, that you have the responsibility of taking on manhood. Manhood. So you can bring values back to our families, back to our communities, back to our churches. Okay? So an adult making appropriate decisions. It means you are grown up. You are mature. You are fully grown. Meaning you understand. And see, a lot of you don't understand because as a child, you didn't receive that instruction. You didn't receive that direction. And let me say for all the men who are listening, go and get it. Sit under someone who can help you to develop your manhood. Some of y'all say, I'm 35, I'm 45, I'm 50, I'm 60, I'm whatever. Is your manhood on the level that it should be? Do you respect your wife? Do you love your wife? Do you have a wife? Because you're supposed to be married if you want to enjoy the pleasures of sex. So get that together first. So can you make the appropriate decision? Can you decide I want to be married so I can have a family? Because that's the number one decision that you need to make. Okay? We're talking about family and all of that, so that's why I said that little piece. But if you're not interested in being married and having children right now, you still need to get your manhood to a level where when you are ready to move to that stage of life, you are prepared in as much as you can be. And if you were raised in a single parent home, then you need to get under a male figure, a male influence that can help guide and direct you. And let me say this. Do not, by any means, get under the wings of someone who is less than a man. I said it, not taking it back. I'm for real. Do not get under the wings of somebody who is less than a man. Let me tell you what a man will do. A man will work. A man will pay bills. A man will treat his wife like a queen. A man will be there as the head of his family, taking on full responsibilities and accountabilities. A man will stay at home with his wife and his children instead of sneaking around with somebody else's wife or some lady and their children. A man will hold it down. A man will go to church. He will put God first in his life. A man will take care of his business. That's what a man will do. I know we got a lot of pretenders out there. It's so many pretenders out there. But guess what? It's a lot of men out there who are manned up and they are taking care of their responsibilities. If you are looking for someone to mentor you, make sure it's a man. Don't get under the wings of somebody that is tipping, slipping, all the nonsense. If you can look at them and they have his integrity is strong, his ethics are in the right place. He is a leader, and only a good leaders only come from being great followers. So you got to look at that thing, that person, and decide. Here's that decision making again, maturity again. Is this person even a man? Is he somebody that I can even follow? That's the choice that you have to make. Because we are all, I won't say a victim, but we're all a product of what we see in front of us. Okay? And you have to make a decision when you become an adult of the things that you want in your life, the things that are going to help you, the things that are going to help you build a family. So making those decisions. Now we're going to talk about, so that's what an adult is, okay? We're taking on those responsibilities, being responsible. Now, okay, so it says a man is an adult male. So let's talk about that second part. Being a male. What does that really mean? And I want you to open up your minds a little bit, and I want you to understand that there are some differences in being a male and a female. The Bible talks about man. He says that he made man in his own image. It further goes on to say that male and female created he them. But there's a difference between a male and a female. Okay? People always want to say, the woman is the weaker vessel. I'll let you have that one. He says, but honor her as unto the weaker vessel, I believe. He didn't say she was the weaker vessel. Okay. So let's go on. Being a male. What is a male? Did you know that the male brain is 10% larger than the female brain? Okay. Did you know that? Did you not know that the male brain is 10% larger than the female brain? Keep the 10% in your mind, because I know what you're thinking. You know about that 10%, right? So keep that in mind. 10% larger than the female brain. Why is that? Why would God even make man like that? To have 10% more brain than a woman? Why? Why? What's the big deal? Huh? We equals, right? You thought so? Well, we're not. We're equals, but we're not equals. Can you get that? You got it? We're equals, but we're not equal because we serve different roles. A man is no better than me. A woman is no better than a man. But it's for a purpose because we serve different roles. Okay? Get this information at brainfitnessforlife.com if you want to look it up. In a man, the left brain is more dominant, more task-oriented, more task-driven. Men, whatever you want to do, whatever is before you, whatever is facing you, you have more of an ability to deal with it than a woman does. And we know these women don't play. We can get out here, leave me with a child. I'm going to get out here and work 3 jobs, go back to school, get an education. I'm going to work it to the bone. Task driven. But the man has 10% more brain than I have. Come on, man, you got to step it up. You got to step it up. You have the power to do it. 10% more task oriented. Women, on the other hand, are better communicators. uh, and we have better intuition. Okay, great. But we're focusing on men right now. Men, you can do it. Whatever it is that you desire to do, own a business, even if it's just work hard, get up every morning, face that day every morning. I know it's tough, you have a huge responsibility, but guess what? You can do it. Okay? So the men's inferior spatial lobe, which contains numerical brain function, is larger. Okay? So you see things in terms of numbers, or you understand numbers better. You can determine, I think men probably determine how things are going to work out because they can kind of do the math. Statistically, men are better at math than women. Okay, so you got a lot going for yourself, men. I mean, really. Math is one of those challenging subjects, that a lot of people don't do well at. I was a bit surprised when I found this out. I really was a bit surprised. Not that I think I had to have heard it before. Yeah, I ain't gonna even tell you my background in education, so I should have heard this information before. But man, think about that: 10% larger brain. You're better at math, okay? And then, but here might be the little stumbling block when it comes to stress. It is said that with stress, men have two choices. They tend to go to the flight or fight syndrome. Did I just say syndrome? I said syndrome. Okay. They tend to go to the flight or fight syndrome. The problem is, I think we have too many choosing the flight syndrome instead of the fight syndrome. The stress of responsibility is huge, astronomical. I know that. And men, you know exactly what I'm talking about because you are great with numbers. So you know what it's going to take to buy gas, put gas in your car, send a kid off to college, buy Pampers, milk, pay all of those bills, light, gas, water, cell phone, whatever you got to do. So stress is a real issue. But like I said, I think too many may be siding on the flight side rather than the fight side. I want you to fight. I want to see more men fighting. Fighting for your families. Fighting for your children. Fighting for your life. I want to see your life increase. There's nothing more beautiful than a family. Okay? Nothing. When I go to church, I love to see the family setting together. The husband, the wife, the children. It's beautiful. When I go to a game, I absolutely love to see a family walk in. Supporting their son, supporting their daughter. Love it. Think about it. Really, for real. You can do whatever you want to do. You're an adult, right? But what do you know? I mean, what I'm telling you, there's nothing like it. I mean, Steve Harvey is telling the women, think like a man, act like a lady, whatever. I just want men to think like men. If we could get these men to think like men, we don't need no ladies trying to think like a man. We just need men thinking like men. So, let's move on. This is good. Okay? So, men are better known for, it says that men have think with a single brain half when it comes to language. Okay? And I think that's good because, let's see, I've been married now for 7 years. And I like it. I mean, I talk a lot. Can't you say that? But my husband is like a 3-word man. And I like that. I think for most women, it probably turns us on. I mean, hey, nothing like a strong word from a man. I mean, you could be talking about this and that and blah blah blah, and he just says, "No, I don't think we need to do that." It's something about his decision making that makes you go, "Hmm, if he said it, you know, okay, we'll just go with what your dad said." You know what I mean? You have confidence in him, you know. So that means a lot. So I think men don't have to say a lot. You know, they know what they want to say. They know what they want to do. They put it out there. It's good as gold. That's the type of man you need to be. You need to be the type of man who, if you have a thought, a belief, whatever, you know, that you're able to put it out there. Few words, we understand. Because, you know, hey, you're different on the language scale. Women are better communicators. We already talked about that. So that's cool. So we don't expect you to talk a lot. But we do expect you to say nice things, and we do expect you to communicate, and we do expect you, um, you know, to have something to say. So let's go. Okay. So my notes are bad. So it's smaller. They don't. The limbic system, which has a lot to do with that emotional connectivity. Let me see. Let me tell you, guys. You have got to open up on an emotional level. Seriously, I mean for real. You have got to open up. You've got to get yourself to a point where you feel comfortable open up, especially if you're married. Oh, you gotta open up. So, but you know, you are it's smaller and more shallow. You have a smaller and more shallow limbic system, less emotional connection, and we already said not good at communicating. So those are things that you probably just need to work on. But a few words, man, can I tell you something? A few words go like alone. You want to set your wife straight for a whole week? Tell her you love her. You want to set your wife straight for a whole week? Tell her she's beautiful. I'm just telling you the truth. You want to just, you know, have your children happy and ecstatic and get things done around the house? Tell your son you're proud of him. You want to have your daughter stay at home? Do what she's supposed to do as a young lady? Tell her she's beautiful. Tell her how proud of her you are. Tell her how much you love her. Oh, sometimes it just ain't in all the words that you say. It's in what you say. And sometimes just when you say it. So know you know, you're not wanting to talk a lot and all. That's not a bad thing. Ladies, y'all hear me out there? We getting an understanding here? I was saying, oh, y'all get an understanding. Woo, love it. So a male's visioning or his facial ability is higher than a woman's. And I found this to be like um, weird because let me tell you something. My husband can't find his way out of his bag. This dude cannot. I'm done. Women, we already know. Won't ask for help, will they? I know it's sad, ain't it? Okay. But they're better at determining location, distance, direction, and perspective. Now, I found this to be true because I found out in the construction business, my family, for over 40 years now, however long, I'm 40, so way before I was born, that they have a better sense of location, distance, direction, and perspective. A lot of times, I'm like, oh, we can just walk over there. And my husband would be like, seriously, Kathy? That's a long way. I'm like, no, it's not. It's like down the street, done. He's like, that's a long way. I'm telling you, you ain't going to want to walk all the way over there. We can just drive. We can just drive a couple of blocks or whatever. And you know what? He is so right. I don't know what it is. And I mean, I'm the daughter of a construction guy. I don't know. When I look out, it looks close to me. But when a guy look out, he can see the distance. I like that because men, that's some more power that God has given you because you can look out and you can see it from a distance. That's powerful. Your view, your perception of life should be more intuitive than mine. Like you should know your responsibilities and you should be able to look out, see what it's gonna take to handle all you got going on and go after it. Oh man, this is so good. This is good. But you know what? I gotta end it because that's 30 minutes and I only do 30 minutes at a time. We're gonna pick up when we come back from this point next week, next Sunday at 8 o'clock. And we're going to keep going. This is so good. Let me end it with this. I believe it was Paul who said that when I was a man, when I was a child, excuse me, when I was a child, he says, I spoke as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. He said, but when I became a man, I put away childish things. Who put them away? He said, I put away childish things. Why didn't he just say, when I was a child, I acted like one? Why did he go through the whole thing of, I spoke as a child, I understood as a child, and I thought as a child? Why did he say those three things? He could have just said, I acted like a kid. I was a child. He said it because I understand the Bible in this way. We all want to have that perfect life. We all endeavor, we all wish we had great childhoods. We all wish we were taught all the appropriate things. We all wish we learned the things that we needed that were necessary for life. But life happens, and some of us fail to receive all that we needed to receive. And in that, we miss out. So Paul thought it was very important to note this, just in case someone had an absent father who didn't teach them the appropriate things to do, in case you hadn't learned as a child responsibility, in case you hadn't learned at that fight or flight moment to fight. He wanted you to know that you have the power to gain those resources, okay? To learn how to be a man, you can do that. Like I said, with good leadership. Don't get under the wings of an idiot. And why did he make that statement at all? I mean, why did he even include that? Why is that even included in the scripture? Because all scripture is written for the edification of the body of Christ. All scripture is written to help us along the way. All of it was done to help us, to guide us, and to get us back on the right road. Very important that you understand that. Men, you are not failures. You are a gift from God. You are an absolute blessing. I wish you knew how much of a blessing you were and you are. Sons, you are a blessing. You will grow up to be men who will be strong, men of valor, men of strength. I'm telling you. Reorganize your life. Reorganize the way you think. And put away childish things. Take on responsibilities. Okay, if you got 5 or 6 kids out there running around, slow down. Think about, reevaluate that situation. Think about what you need to do to be in their life. I'm not going to go any farther because I believe in laying a very basic foundation whereby people may grow and learn and increase in knowledge. Okay, because knowledge is powerful. Knowledge, knowing, understanding, it'll change your life. We will continue next week with this discussion. Okay? I love you to pieces. This is Sister Kathy on Ustream Live, channel New You. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you next week. Tell a friend. Bye.